This morning I had a client at Marion Hospital, and I was talking with the family, and I always ask, do you have your advance directives in place? Whose power of attorney over health and finance in your family? And they said, it was my mom, but she passed away.
That's Charmaine Petersen. She's the longtime director of Senior Living Consultants. Her company is crucial for making the transition for seniors an easy one at what could be a very tough time for the entire family.
Seniors will spiral down from isolation, boredom, and loneliness, sometimes when they're at home. And it's so much more to be in a life enrichment community where they're getting the activities and stimulation every day, and it adds to their longevity.
Senior Living Consultants is a necessary resource for everyone. Charmaine and her team know the ins and outs about the things the majority of us don't think to plan out or even want to plan out, but they are very necessary. If you have family members, then this is a must-listen-to episode of the SLO County Real Estate Podcast with Hal Sweasey. Here's your host, James Bueno.
SLO County Real Estate Podcast with Mr. Hal Sweasey and Mr. John Turner. Gentlemen, how are you?
I'm awesome.
Living life. Very excited for today.
We're missing one today. Miss Kelly is doing some work, and she's busy, so that's great. Mm-hmm. We're here in the back alley again at our new podcast area. It's super fun. Mr. Kingman, too. You hear him in the background?
Yes. Hi.
How are you, sir?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Last time, I got to be honest, I was sick. Okay. My voice isn't really that bad, everybody.
You sounded rough and tumble.
A rough and tumbled is a good way to say it.
You look marvelous.
Yeah. Billy Crystal. See, I knew that, JT.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah,
I'm excited about today because we got a guest.
I am too. Well, we need to get rolling.
Our guest.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Can I?
Yeah.
Is it?
You're the boss.
Okay.
You're the boss.
I guess sounds great. So Charmaine Petersen from Senior Living Consultants is going to come talk to us about what she does and how she helps families that are transitioning from a regular home to assisted type living, or can you call it senior living?
Yeah, senior living communities.
Charmaine, tell us a little bit about how you got started, where people can find you. Just a little bit, give us your little elevator pitch, if you don't mind.
Well, I've done sales and consulting most of my life, and then I did the advertising for this company for about 8 years.
So you worked for a TV or radio station? Radio station. Okay, good. So you're beating up on Jeff.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah.
And then the owner said, boy, you've been doing my advertising for 8 years. I got to retire. So she asked my husband if this would be something that we would want to do. And my husband, when I told him about it, he's like, oh, this has been your calling. This is so perfect for you. So I got certified as a senior advisor. I got certified in dementia. That was in 2006.
So you're pushing almost 20 years.
Yeah.
Good for you.
My wife and I were helping a family, a senior. She didn't have any family in the area, and there came a time where we needed somebody like Charmaine, and it was Charmaine who stepped in. It was unbelievable how she took the stress away from us and the family that didn't live in the area by helping get this woman to the right facility. So thank you.
You're welcome.
You were awesome. And I'm so excited to have you here because I know what value you bring to the community.
I really feel that it's so important for seniors. They're not safe at home, to be proactive instead of reactive and get out there. And I usually take the family around. We do independent living, assisted living, and memory care here on the Central Coast. So we kind of cover all the bases. But, seniors will at home, especially if they've lost a loved one of 65 years, they can spiral down from isolation, boredom, and loneliness, worse than a diagnosis of Parkinson's. I mean, and it was really hard during the pandemic too. We kept calling seniors that we knew were still at home and just checking in on them and that sort of thing. But we want to show them what's out there, see what the pricing is. We look at their health, their finance, and their living condition on what would be the best fit for them.
And how would people find you if they listen to this podcast and they go, we're a family that needs Charmaine. How would they find you?
So we have a brick and mortar office here in San Luis, and our phone number is 805 545-5901. We're just right over by the Red Cross here in San Luis. I've got a wonderful team, like 5 employees. My son, after he graduated from Cal Poly in 2014, I'm like, don't leave. I'm going to need you. So now he's been with me since then. We're kind of a family business, but we have some really awesome ladies that kind of follow through, because we do more than just placement. Besides narrowing down the options for the family, because it is a daunting process. And they don't know where to begin. And we tend to ask the questions when we pick them up in our car, and we narrow down. There's about 140 homes from Paso Robles to San Ynez. And so we have everybody's state inspection reports. So that's why families call us. They know that we'll show them the best, and they can choose what they know their folks the best, what would be the best option for them.
So my dad's getting to a place where it's going to be hard for him to live alone, and so I'm going to pick up the phone and call you.
Yeah.
What does it look like? What's next?
So then when you call me, we do an in-depth intake of what their social, medical, financial needs are. Are they walking with a walker? Are they diabetic? Are they on oxygen? And of course, budget too. We try to connect all the dots for the family. They could be like they're calling us because their loved one took a fall and they're in the hospital. Either the hospital's calling us and they gave them our phone number, and then we take it from there. But after we do this assessment on them, we pick out a time that's convenient for you to take a 1.5 to 2 hour tour. And then we pick you up at that time and show you the homes. Then we let the family pick the home because they know their loved one the best. Sometimes we'll go meet their family at the hospital or in skilled nursing and kind of lay eyes on them in person too. And then the family picks a place. We handle all the medical paperwork on your behalf. So all these homes are licensed through the state of California through social services. And they have to have either a chest x-ray or a TB test or a blood draw. And then there's this 6-page physician's report. And then we even send over a med list of what their medications are. We send over a pulse form, and a pulse form is advanced directives on if they needed to be resuscitated. What is your wishes? We kind of cover everything. Like this morning, I had a client at Marion Hospital, and I was talking with the family, and I always ask, do you have your advanced directives in place? Whose power of attorney over health and finance in your family? And they said, it was my mom, but she passed away, so we don't have any. So then we help with those advanced directives, getting those in place for the family, referring to elder law attorneys to make that happen. Then after they pick a home, then there's an assessment, and we get the medical paperwork back. Then there's an assessment that has to be done, because sometimes the paperwork doesn't always match up with what you see in person. And if they have memory loss, they're looking like, how is their behavior? Some dementias. So dementia is this big umbrella. And then under the umbrella, the most prominent one is Alzheimer's. And we're big sponsors, by the way, and of the Alzheimer's Association. They have a fundraiser every year. But there's Lewy body dementia, which can be very aggressive, and vascular dementia and frontal lobe dementia. We've placed people that have been in a car accident when they were severe head trauma when they were 18, had a total great life, and now they're 85, and from that head injury, their brain is shrinking, and they get the dementia.
So this whole industry is one that I associate very high costs. And so you are a your company is a for-profit company, not a nonprofit, right?
Yes.
So how do you get paid?
So even though we're free to the public and the hospitals can call us and skilled nursing, the way we keep our lights on and pay our bills is we're contracted with all the licensed homes on the Central Coast. And then I have a sister office in Santa Barbara. And then if it's the right fit for the family and the home, then the home pays us a one-time finder's fee.
So it's the facilities that cover you.
And we have a great relationship with all the homes.
The cost of facilities, I'm sure, is a wide range depending on the needs of the individual.
Exactly.
But that has to be a burden on families too, that big cost. How do families fund that?
So since the homes are private pay, we look at do they have a long-term care policy? Because that will help. Were they married or are they a veteran? If they were a veteran, and we help with this as well, and they served one day in wartime, the veteran themselves could get $2,300 up to $3,000 a month. Wow. It's called aid and attendance money. And it takes a little while to get it, but it's retroactive. So even if they wait 4 months, they're accumulating the $2,300 every month, and then they get a sizable check.
Do you find that that's something that people don't know about?
They don't know about
like
this.
It's not like the
Like
military doesn't come out and just say, let you know that, and you keep that information forever. It's something you may have found out about and then forgotten along the way, right?
And when I get this money for the families, I mean, they seriously are crying. They are so happy. They didn't even know this existed. We help them with, again, connecting all the dots there. But the homes, I would say from Paso Robles, clear out to Cambria to Napomo, those homes, I guess the home is about $5,500 a month, and that includes all the food, all the care, 24/7, eyes on them, awake staff, and then helping them out of bed, off the toilet, in the shower, helping them with dressing. And med management is huge. Sometimes just because a lot of times the seniors are at home, they've got so many medicines that they're looking at, they're under or over medicating themselves. They're forgetting that, did I take this med? Oh, I'll take it again. So they help them with all that. They have activities. They have transportation. All that's included. Usually there's a base rate for the food and transportation activities in some of the bigger facilities, and then the care is either a point system or levels of care that's added to the rent. And that's how it goes for the bigger places. But the small board and cares, which are licensed for 6, they're all inclusive.
And you say that's about $5,500 a month?
Starts at about $55, but some of the homes are pretty Taj Mahal. We have some homes out here on the Central Coast just in the last 5 years that are big estates. Like they have tennis courts, swimming pools.
So it's going to be a little more for something like that.
And that runs probably around 8, 9, or 10,000.
If you need care because of Alzheimer's or dementia, those rates are substantially more. Am I right?
They typically run the ones that are more are the ones that they're locked. Like if you have a person with memory loss, but they're physically fine and they can walk, and they could have wandering issues or sundowning. When the sun goes down, they start getting agitated and they exit seek. So that's not safe. And those people that have dementia, but they're physically fine and have and are wandering, then I have to place them in a place that is a secure environment for them. They don't even know that that they can't get out of the community. It's just a code on a gate, and then the family knows the code and they can get out and get in when they come to visit their loved one. Seniors will spiral down from isolation, boredom, and loneliness sometimes when they're at home. And it's so much more to be in a life enrichment community where they're getting the activities and stimulation every day, and it adds to their longevity.
Charmaine, we didn't talk about this, but that example you gave, married 65 years and then recently widowed.
Yeah.
So that's like my father, who's 89. And it's interesting as I hear you say all these things, your model, what you do is similar to like a real estate agent.
Yeah.
Currently, it's like, okay, you find someone a home and then the seller will pay for the successful, putting the people together.
Right.
I'm hearing everything you're saying, and I've taken my dad to the Villages twice, and he was a gung-ho, then we got there, not so much. But it's amazing for me to hear how much you know that I don't know. Right. And I just realized, I went, man, this is one of those situations where I'm like trying to sell my house on my own, and there's somebody that's there going to hold my hand and spin through every possible direction. So I feel like this is a personal consultation for me. So thank you for that. Right.
And it really is a journey, and we know how to do baby steps if people are digging their heels in. No one really wants to make a big change, especially at like 85 and up. That's about the range people look into assisted living. So we know those baby steps, and it help the family guide them through that. We tend to ask the questions the families don't think to ask.
Well, hello, you've done it a lot, right? So it's so funny. I was probably in my 30s when I first went to the Villages, and they were a college housing thing. And And I'm in my 30s, and I'm walking around here, and I got a fountain and a pool and ice cream machine and lunch and dinner serve. I called my wife. I said, I think we should just move in here. Right?
I know. That's what the kids
I mean,
say.
it's like going to a Sheraton or a Hyatt or something. It's fantastic. And so my question, I have two questions. One, who usually initiates it? Is it the elder person or is it the family, the conversation? And two, I mean, is there anything you can do to assist them? Because a lot of times that big decision of buying a house, it's like, we want to, but we're scared. Is there anything you can do to help someone to kind of move over the hump?
Yeah.
When it seems like the handwriting's on the wall?
We really encourage to be proactive instead of react, to go out and at least look, even if a move is never ever going to happen down the road, at least you know what's out there. But sometimes I'll encourage the family, if their loved one's digging their heels in a little bit, to maybe come over for lunch and just have lunch there.
Right.
Or, an activity after lunch.
Yeah, so they get familiar with...
Yeah, so they get familiar. Or do a respite stay, especially if they're...
What's that?
So a respite stay is like the family's been taking... The mom or dad has moved in with the kids, and they just need a break. They've been caregiving their parents, and the baby boomers is like a sandwich generation. They're taking care of their own kids, and then they're taking care of their parents a lot of times too. So when they want to go take a cruise or something, and dad's not up for it, they call us, and we just get them at a place that would be a good fit for dad, like the Villages, for like 2 weeks. So they can go on a break and take a break and go on a little trip.
This is a costly event for a family, and we're connected with what you do because many families find themselves in a situation where they have to sell the real estate that mom or dad has owned over the years so that they can fund this.
Oh, yeah.
We see that a lot. Do you see that as well?
I see that too. Sometimes they'll have a realtor, sometimes they don't, and I would refer to Hal. I would get them, again, connect the dots. I refer to them like mom's house looks like a hoarder's house, and they need a declutterer. So I'll refer someone to come in and declutter the house, that sort of thing. Or movers, they might need movers. And so we do that. But if they have, so what is 5,500 starts here in San Luis Obispo, the same home, just as nice as here, is like $3,100 a day for the same 55 here in Santa Maria, because it costs less to run a home. Plus, a home in San Luis, you're not going to get for like close to $1 million. You can still buy a home in Santa Maria for, under $5 million.
Right.
So a lot of times people, if they didn't prepare with a long-term care policy or good retirement savings, then we look in Santa Maria and we get a place for $3,000 a month for all the care and food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you think the people that have either the elderly people that move into a home, the seniors or the family, what's the biggest thing they learn, like once they move in? Because, it's nobody's been there, right?
Right.
The kids haven't done it, and the elderly person hasn't done it. So what's the thing they learn most? It's like, how are they surprised?
We try to find out enough about Mom and even take a picture of her room at home, because once they start getting really frail, they only go from like their bathroom to their bedroom to the kitchen, and it's just, they don't really even access their whole house.
Yeah.
So we set up her room at the place before she gets there to look a lot like her room looks at her home. Bring her bed, her comforter, really connect. And we find out what's her favorite dinner. We make her favorite dinner the first night she's there. She likes beef stroganoff or, pot roast. That's what's going to be served. We play her favorite music, but it is an adjustment. And some people adjust in like 2 days. Some take 2 weeks. Some take 2 months, especially if they have memory loss.
Yeah.
They have to build up a new routine.
Who normally initiate? I got to figure it's the children.
And the
Right.
children's the one that calls
initiate
us
the call
mostly.
most of the time.
Yeah.
Right. It's
Yeah.
not like the owner, the person going in, the
Yeah,
older person. So-
sometimes if they're really independent, it's like the lady will call us and say, I'm ready to look at options.
Right.
But for the most part, it's the kids. They say that in just 2035, in 12 years, it's going to feel like a silver tsunami coming at us, because the baby boomer population is 3 times the population of their mom and dad. And they said in 2035, the U.S. Census Bureau said there'll be more older adults in the country than children.
Charmaine, you're starting to get personal here.
Yep. I'm going to reserve my spot then as soon as I can. Okay. Well, get out your calendar. I need to get an appointment for me. Yeah.
No, you like
Yeah.
This has been great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been listening intently. Like I recently lost my father, and I'm thinking about my mom and stuff like that. So, yeah, this is amazing information. Thank you so much.
It's fantastic.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, for sure.
And being such a
Great.
great resource as we wrap up, again, give us how the best way to reach you would be for
So you
public.
can go to our website, which is seniorlivingconsultants.com, or give us a call at 805-545-5901. And we want to always be there for you when you need us.
Thank you. What a great service.
You're awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks
very
so
much.
much. And Hal can always connect you as well too.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we've done
most
that a lot.
people know how to connect.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now I'm got to get back into the mode
Yeah,
here.
right. Yeah.
Great information, gentlemen. Anything else you want to add?
No, thank
KT?
you.
See you next week.
All right. Thank you so much. We'll have you back again. Appreciate it. Yeah. Thank you for listening to the Hal Sweasey podcast. Be sure to subscribe and rate this podcast. Check for it in your feed for the latest information on the San Luis Obispo County market. The SLO County Real Estate with Hal Sweasey podcast is available wherever you get your podcast and on halsweasey.com, where you can find current listings and other real estate tips. halsweasey.com, that's HALSWEASEY.com. I am James Bueno, Director of Marketing for the Hal Sweasey Group. If you're looking for anything real estate, give us a call, 805-781-3750.
San Luis Obispo Real Estate Podcast with Hal Sweasey is also on YouTube. Now you can see people talk about real estate in one of California's hottest markets. Get the latest episode on the podcast page at teamswayze.com or subscribe to Hal Sweasey on YouTube. Hal Sweasey is a licensed California real estate broker. DRE number 011119111. The SLO County Real Estate with Hal Sweasey podcast is a production of AGM Podcasts. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.